record this, and let me pull up our virtual machine where I already have membership open. I did that ahead of time to make it load faster, but to open membership, all I did in version 18 was click on membership. Um, a few quick things. Hopefully, you got in the classroom early enough to see the PowerPoint that was running, because that gave you some information about using the GoToWebinar toolbar. We're showing that prior to the user group now to save time. I do have Ross in the room with me, another tech, and as I'm showing you things on the screen, he will be answering questions in the question panel. Now, because version 18 is not yet out, as techs, we have helped the programmers by, we have scheduled times where we'll go over their area, and they'll have some things for us to try out to test it and see if we run into any problems or add suggestions. So Ross and I, you may ask us a question that we currently don't know the answer to. But if we don't know the answer, we can try and find that out for you and get back to you. But hopefully we'll know all the answers. Um, so if you have a question, just open up your question panel and you can type your question in there, and Ross will answer questions in the question panel as I'm showing things. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll try to keep it to 20 minutes. At the end of that, we will open the floor for questions, and I'll just read your question out loud and answer it. We will not be unmuting anyone, simply because with so many attendees, if I were to unmute everyone, we would hear all the noise from all your different locations in the background. So that is why everyone is muted. But we will answer questions either in the question panel directly, or I'll ask them or read them out loud and answer them out loud as well. But do try to keep your questions topical, just out of respect for everyone coming to see a preview for version 18. Try to keep it to those. If you have questions that fall without what we're looking at today, I could maybe show you at the end, or those questions might be best answered on a support call or by emailing us. All right, so I went ahead and opened up membership. And the first thing I want to show you, there's a few changes in membership in version 18, and most of those have to do with attendance entry, and a new screen, Browse Attendance, where you can see everyone's attendance or filter to different things. And a couple of the attendance reports are changing as well. Now, as I open these up, you might look at it and go, "Wow, I'm overwhelmed." But if you're familiar with the old attendance entry screen and you look at this one, really the same functions are available, and they may have moved around a little bit. The same functions are there, and it functions the same way. Plus, you have some other things you can do with the screens as well. So while it looks a lot different and it looks like it's changed a lot, you still have the same functionality plus more. So I just can only stress, I can't stress enough, when version 18 comes out and you load it, take some time, learn it. Don't get freaked out and overwhelmed and say, "I can't do this," because it really is a lot like the old attendance entry. And when you first got Church Windows the very first time, there was a little bit of learning involved there as well. So let's go ahead and I'll click on attendance. And first I want to show you the attendance entry screen. Now this, to mark attendance, if you're new to the program, to mark attendance, first you have to have events or groups classes set up. And if you have groups and classes set up, you have to put people in those. Yesterday I did do a 20-minute coffee break webinar covering setting up groups and classes. So if you missed that, I'm sorry. I did record that, so hopefully as soon as it's cleaned up and standardized, it will be put up on our version resource page with all our free videos. All right, so here we have the membership attendance entry screen, and actually I think normally it opens up, a little smaller, half the screen. I like to maximize all the screens, especially for the purpose of the user groups, so you can see it really well if you have a smaller screen. Let's just look in the upper left corner, and we'll just work our way across and down the screen. Notice upper left we can choose events or groups classes. Events are things that anyone can attend. Groups, classes, you set those up and you actually have to put people in those. So you only see the people you've put into the groups, classes when you select one. If I leave those both checked, we have a category, department, and oops, looks like we renamed one of these. Usually it's category, I think division, department, and category. So someone went in and changed a label here. But that refers to the hierarchy within the group's classes you set up. You may just have one folder with everything in it, or you may have set up divisions and then with those in those departments and categories. And if you're looking for a group or class, let me not choose one of these here. And if I look at my list, whoops, I accidentally unchecked groups, classes. If I look at my list here, my drop-down list of events and groups, classes, notice I have a long list. You may have an even longer list. What choosing a division, department, or category here does for you, if I choose, let's say, musical groups, now if I click the down arrow here, I only see one musical group. I don't have a big long list. Because I still have events checked, notice I still see my events. And we have a third column here that indicates to us if the item is an event. If it's a group or a class, then this box is not checked. So selecting something first under division, department, category will narrow down what you see in the event and group class drop-down list. Now, if you select something in error, notice at the end of each line we have an X where we can clear out that selection. If you don't want to choose anything in this top division, department, category, which is what it should read, if you don't want to choose anything there, you can just click the drop down and select something from the list. You can click on any of these column headers, tab it sort by that column. And also at the end of the line, if you realize the event or group class you're looking for has not actually been created yet, then we can click this little pencil, and here we can add, edit, delete events or groups, classes. If I click on that, it gives me a choice of events. If I choose events, it brings up a window showing my current events, and I can put in a new code and description and click add, or I can edit any of the existing ones or click the minus at the end of the line to delete them. Again, I can click the X here to clear out any choices. If I choose groups, classes, when I click the little plus minus pencil, that will bring up my setup groups, classes window where I actually can set up my groups and classes. I'm not going to go into detail on this. This is I did a whole 20-minute user group yesterday showing how to use that. If you have questions about anything that I'm not able to go into detail today, then definitely give us a call, or you could ask the question at the end of this user group. But I want to show you a lot, and I've already used half the time. I talk too much. So I'm going to go ahead here and choose our first and second grade Sunday school class. Once you choose the group or class you want to mark attendance for, then you move over to date. I can click the down arrow here, and I can choose a date from the calendar by clicking on it. And notice as soon as I choose my event and group class or group class and then put in a date, now I see all the students that I've put in my first and second grade Sunday school. Let's go ahead and maybe I want the 16th. I can choose any day on the calendar, or I can just type in my date as well. So whichever entry method you prefer. Then the X at the end of the line will clear out any date if you've entered one. Now, how you record attendance is up to you. You can enter as much information as you want or just the bare minimum. Upper left here, we have persons present, where you can enter a count. If you want to just put a count of how many people were there. You can enter a number on your keyboard, or I can use the arrow here to go up or down. Then, if you'd like, you can also put in an amount collected. If you, during your event or group class, collected money and you want to record it for the attendance reports, you can enter that here. Any amount you enter here will not carry over to donations. This is strictly for reporting purposes in membership on your attendance reports. So if you need to get money into donations, then you definitely want to go over and go to enter donations and put that there as well. Now, if we click details, this brings up another window where you can break down your persons present and any dollar amount. And again, both of these are optional. You can use this or not, but you can really break down what came from where, how many members or visitors were present or gave money, children from the members or visitors, other people, maybe people who aren't in the database. You mark them in your person's presence and amount collected. You can enter those numbers here as well. And then if you enter numbers, you can have it compute by clicking the buttons below, and it adds the totals. Notice it's already seen from my total here that I put 3. If all I want to do is record that 3 people were present, I don't have to come in and put any detail if I don't want to. So I can just click OK there. Now, if you're looking here, I probably really wouldn't need to search for a person because I only have 6 people showing as enrolled. Notice there's tabs here. Maybe we had someone who is not enrolled in this group or class and they attended one day. So that might be a case for a group or class where it's really small like that, and I can see the people that maybe I want to find that not enrolled person. To search for a person, I can either click the down arrow and scroll through my list and look for them, or I can go ahead and start typing their name. And then when I click on the name in the drop-down list, notice it found Carol Jones, marked her present. And now I can see, let me go back to my enrolled tab. Let me go ahead, I can just mark a few people present here. Maybe we'll mark 4. Maybe we had an error here. Our persons present, we put 3, and here we put 4. That's okay. Especially for events, you might have ushers do a head count versus people signing in on the sheet. So maybe you had a different count that the ushers did versus how many people actually signed the sheet. So the program won't alert you if your persons present doesn't match what you check off here. And again, if you want to mark people present and you don't care to mark up or left persons present or any amount collected, you don't have to fill that in. So it's, as much or as little as you want to record here. Now on the not enrolled, and this only applies to your group's classes, if somebody attended and they've decided they want to enroll in the group or class, at the end of the line I can click enroll. And now notice if I go to in my enrolled tab, we see 7 total. Carol Jones is now a member of the 1st and 2nd grade Sunday school class and marked present as well. We can also opt to show a column for excused, and any additional information you set up to record for your group's classes, you can show that as well. We can right-click on any of these columns and choose some options that save you time. I'm going to go up and go to events. Let's choose an event instead, because then you have a big long list of people. Notice when I choose Sunday worship, because it's an event, anyone can attend, we only have 1 tab, potential attendees, and a comments tab, which this looks the same on the, if I choose a group or class. I didn't show that before. But here we have a much larger list, and this is where the search box in the upper left might come in handy to find someone. It is listed alphabetically, but you can click on any of these column headers to have it sort by that. But then if I mark someone present, let's mark one of the Althofs present. If I mark them present, now I can just right-click just beside that in the column, and I can choose check present for entire family. And notice here it marked off any of the other Althofs that are in that household as being present. Now, my eyes are getting old, and looking all the way across the screen I'd prefer to have some of these columns closer. So notice I can also hover in between my columns and drag them over. Oops, I'm not sure why that didn't drag. That might be a bug. Because I should be able to drag this. Maybe there's something over here that's larger and I'm not seeing it. I should be able to drag that column over. So I'm going to have to make a note and see why that column is not dragging. Present column not dragging. Because I wanted to show you how you could move that over and have that be closer to what you're seeing on the left. All right, a few more things. Upper right, we can print what we're showing currently on the screen. And when we choose print, we can choose to either do reports directory export or labels or email. If you made a mistake, maybe this is not attendance for the 16th. It's actually a different date. I can click copy, and that brings up a copy attendance window where I can copy it over to a new date and tell it to delete the old incorrect attendance. I could just delete this if I wanted to, or under options, here's where I can change that division where it says department. I can change that back to division department category. Also under options, here's where you could opt to track communion. Notice under the groups classes, we did not see a column for communion. And if you want to track excused absences, if you want a column for that, we can check here to include that as well. All right, now I'm kind of going through this quickly, but I want to also show you, because we're nearly at the end of our 20 minutes, I want to show you the new browse screen. If I go to attendance and browse, I've marked attendance for people. Once this screen opens, it's going to default to show me, you can see right here, my 2015 year, and it's showing all of the people in my database and giving me, the first line gives me a little basic information, but beside each name I can click the plus sign and see the details. Here I see exactly what I've marked for Beth Adams so far for 2016. Let's go back in the upper left. If you want to look for just a particular record, I, in the upper left, can click the drop-down list and look for someone. Click on their name, and when I do that, it's only going to show me the attendance for the person I've selected. Or if I click the X to clear that out, now we're back seeing everyone's attendance. Maybe I just choose the first person in the list. I can use these arrows at the end of this line to move through the people in my database alphabetically, and now I'm just seeing their attendance one by one. Or right on this screen, I can bring up a person's name and click Add Attendance and enter attendance information for this person. On the browse screen, top middle, I can choose to just show my members or visitors. It defaults to show everyone. But notice if I uncheck Include Members, I'm suddenly kind of getting a lag here on my machine. Here we go. Notice everyone here has a V in brackets after their name, which indicates they're a visitor. Now if I check Members and then uncheck Visitors, notice now I'm only seeing members. We don't see any V's after anyone's name here, so I'm just seeing the members in my database. Now I also can filter to show specific events or groups classes. Upper left I have check boxes, which right now I've checked both. This computer's acting squirrely. I did not click on that and unchecked it. That's odd. So here, if I wanted to just see a particular event, here we can look for our first and second grade Sunday school. And I'm going to notice this box attendee. It's sorting right now by attendee. I'm going to drag and drop that in the middle here so we can see the details. And we see I've just the attendance I've marked for 816 that you just watched me mark in attendance entry. Let me clear that out so you can narrow down to a particular event or group class and just see attendance for that. And here I can click on Change Dates, Column, and Sort, and I can narrow down to a specific date or date range. I can specify exactly what columns I see in the browse screen. Whether I see the additional information, whether I'm showing the codes or the descriptions, and this is just for the report. If you are going to print a report out of the browse attendance screen and it's going off the page, then you'd want to come into columns, and I can change the column width. Right now I'm looking at the date column for each of these columns, and that will affect how much room it takes up on the screen, and then also on a report if you print a report. Can also choose to group and sort on this screen by up to 3 different fields, so I can sort by them, and I can also check group by field to have it group by that, where it would have a little plus sign, and you'd open that up to see that grouping. And I also can affect the fonts and what fonts I see. Also here I can look at a particular month, and I can also change what year I'm looking at in attendance. And we are past the 20-minute mark, but let me just show you upper left or upper right. Options is the same options we saw over in attendance entry, where we can decide what we want to track, and then we can relabel some of those fields if we would like to. And if I hit print, momentarily it should bring up a preview of the report, and right now it's just giving me a preview of exactly what I've filtered to show on my browse screen. So since additional information is ending up going across, thinking it needs more room and creating a second blank page, I would want to go into that columns and sort. Oops. And on my columns tab, change the size of probably this additional information. Might need to, whoops, not up, I want to go down. Might need to change some of those others as well. We'll change that to 7. Say OK and print. Whoops. Up, and now we've got it down to 1 page, not a blank page in between. All right, I apologize. I went just a little bit over our 20 minutes, but I wanted to show you at least the attendance entry in the browse attendance. Some of the reports have been rewritten over into this similar looking screen, but they have, most of those have the same options and a little more, but unfortunately we're past the time that I should be saying, are there questions? So I'm going to go ahead and close this and see if there are any questions. If you need to go ahead and leave the room, then just click the X in the upper right of your GoToWebinar toolbar, and that will exit the classroom. But Ross and I can stick around and answer questions if anyone has one. Easy way to get the first-time visitor report. If you're asking for a report based on the first visit date, I mean, that you could do under Reports and Reports Directory Export. And if you have a field called First Visit, you could put that in here and put in the date you need. But I'm not certain if that's what you're asking about, so that question might be better answered on a support call, or if you can email us with more details. Unless Ross is answering that, typing an answer, and he has a better idea or knows specifically what you're indicating. So any questions? If you're in the middle of typing a question, you might want to go ahead and hit enter and then finish typing the rest of your question, so I don't close the room before you get your question typed. So again, I just encourage you, when you get 18, take some time, be patient with yourself. The attendance entry screen still has the functionality it did before, but it has some new things you can do with it. So be patient as you learn, where things are and what the new attendance changes are and what they can do. Any other questions? I know I showed you a lot of information in that 20 minutes, but I really wanted you to see at least the attendance entry in the browse. And there's a lot to show you on those screens. I think I even missed some things I might have wanted to show you. All right. Well, nobody's hit enter and sent any half-typed questions. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and close the user group room. Really quickly, before I do that, if it is your first time attending a user group and you didn't even know about these user groups, let me go ahead and show you on our website. Whoops. Forgot I'm on our virtual machine because we can't put this on the regular desktop, so the home page is not automatically going to church windows. You know what? Let me just close the virtual machine. Here we go. All right, so let me bring up church windows. Along the left side under church windows training, if you click on the last item, free user webinars, this page we just put up, it was either late yesterday or early this morning, our September topics went up. So there are now September coffee break classes available for you to register for, all of them or just the ones you need. And we do record these, and as soon as we, get them cleaned up and standardized a little bit, if you look under support, second to last item, is new version resources. And all of these movies, most are the coffee break 20-minute movies. Some are longer, hour-long movies, but all of these are free. And you can pull these up on any computer that can access the internet and watch them over and over and over again if you need to. So take a look at those. And if you have any questions, you think of something after the class, then definitely give us a call or email support@churchwindows.com and we'll be happy to help you out. I'm actually going to go to lunch now, so I'll be gone for another hour. So if you call and ask for me, you might wait a little longer than if you just ask for anyone in the area you need help in. But definitely give us a call if you need more help or you have more questions. And thank you so much for attending. Everyone have a great day. Bye.